Beards and Flicks, baby.
Okay, guys, welcome to Beards and Flicks. My name is Brad Johnson. I am joined, as always, with my best friend, my partner in crime, Justice League.
Mr. Annoyed. Oh, yeah, Justice League too.
We're talking about a movie today called Inside Man, starring Denzel Washington, Clive Owen, directed by Spike Lee.
Yes, one of my favorite directors who belongs on the official Mount Rushmore of directors. We talked about this in the bonus features episode.
Totally did, yeah.
So, yeah.
I would put Spike Lee in there.
Yeah.
This movie was so different for him, and I loved it. I chose this movie last week, and I watched it a couple days ago. Today is my first day out of isolation.
Quarantine free, baby.
I got COVID-19, and I was in quarantine for 10 days at home in isolation. And luckily, it didn't get too bad. You may see me cough or hear me cough on this. It stayed pretty mild the whole time. So I felt pretty good about it. I was way more worried than I should have been about it.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I'm out of it.
Well, I'm glad you're back, man.
This is the first thing I'm actually doing today.
Yeah.
The first day of freedom, and I come here recording.
Celebration.
Talk to you guys. Yeah.
It's a celebration.
Celebration.
It's a celebration.
Celebration.
Charlie Murphy. It's a celebration.
Inside Man. Let's go. 2006. What's happening?
Well, before we start off with what's
Oh.
happening, this is a movie you chose.
Yep.
And I was actually kind of surprised you picked this movie because it's on our side of 2000s.
Yeah.
A lot of movies you've been choosing were on the other side of 2000s.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So I'm interested to see why you chose
Man,
this.
I remember seeing this movie in the theater. I remember instantly loving it because there's multiple things that I love about this movie. There's the acting quality is all incredible.
Yeah.
I really think that's due to the caliber of actors that are in the movie. I think it's due to the wonderful director that's behind the camera. This is something, like we said a minute ago, that he hasn't really done something like this before. It was a crime drama. Would you say that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. It's a very interesting story. It completely has all these twists and turns. It has a really cool camera angle on the front of Denzel when he's mad and walking towards the bank. I love that scene, man. That's a really cool scene. Jodie Foster, I wanted to say this. I'm gonna say this. Everybody in this, every character in this movie is ego-driven.
That is true. You're right.
Every single character.
Yeah.
Jodie Foster's character, completely ego-driven. Even Denzel's character, ego-driven.
Yeah.
Very full of himself. All of them. Very full of themselves. Very headstrong. They know exactly what they're doing, and they know how to get it.
Right.
And that's how I love those kind of characters.
Yeah.
And it was so fun to watch it unfold, man.
See, so I'm gonna go the opposite when it comes to the Denzel character in this movie.
Okay.
Because he was so arrogant and cocky, I'm not used to seeing Denzel like that, not at that level.
Yep.
Like you said, driven and whatnot. I liked him in Training Day.
Yeah.
And I guess this is some variation of that, but that was more evil, charismatic.
Yep.
Denzel. This was just more, like you said, egotistical, driven, and it just didn't. For me, his performance wasn't what I would have wanted from him.
Right.
But everybody else knocked it out the park.
Dude, even I'm blanking on his name.
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
His character was very much like his character in Four Brothers. Like the same kind of accent.
Right.
I really enjoy watching him on screen.
Yeah.
He's a fun actor to watch.
He's kind of reminded me of he was like Denzel's hype man in this movie.
Yeah.
Always gassing him up, oh, you got this, boss.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
They're great partners.
Yeah.
They had really good chemistry.
Right.
It was a lot of fun to watch them feed off each other's energy.
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe played a very small role, but it was really, I liked his role.
Same, I did too.
And then Christopher Plummer, man. Christopher Plummer has been around forever.
Yeah.
Fantastic actor. Clive Owen. Clive Owen's role.
What's your best friend?
On another one of our episodes, I talk about how I met Clive Owen. I'm not best friends with him, I promise. Clive Owen, also very headstrong, very egotistical, knew exactly what he was doing, and he knocked it out of the park.
He's my favorite character in this movie.
Is he?
Yeah.
Why?
Because he's so confident. I love the opening monologue where he's, where he's blanking the camera.
Spike in the
Spike
Lens.
in the Lens.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that opening monologue. Skipping ahead again, one of my favorite lines is a part of that we'll get to.
Okay.
But for the first half of this movie, you don't see his face.
Yeah.
Like you hear his voice, though. If you know Clive Owen, you know that's him.
Right.
But he has such a physical, like commanding aura about him.
Yeah.
Like, even when he doesn't speak, the way he moves through the scenes, the way he walks around, he commands the scene in every scene that he's in.
Is it called an epilogue when it starts, or prologue?
Prologue.
Prologue when it starts, and he's like basically laying
Yeah.
the entire plan out.
Yeah.
I love it when movies do that.
See, I haven't seen this in a few years, so
Okay.
when I first
Same.
saw it again last night, and he's giving that monologue in the beginning, for whatever reason, I thought he was recording it,
He may have been.
and he could have been.
Yeah.
But it also looked like he was in one of those rooms, like a holding cell.
Yep.
Not a holding cell, but an interrogation room.
Yep.
So, because it could have been like maybe he does get caught, like after the movie ends somewhere,
Yeah.
and he's confessing,
Yeah.
in this moment. So,
I love all of the blues in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Every camera, every scene had a lot of different blue colors
Mm-hmm.
to it. I don't know if that was like a DP choice or like a
I didn't even
theme.
catch that.
Especially those interrogation scenes, or like the
The flash forwards.
flash forwards where they're all talking to everybody. All of that was improv, by the way. Every single one of those scenes was improv.
Wow.
Yeah, in the holding cell, or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
what do you want to call that? Yeah. They had a basic idea what they were talking about, but the Spike Lee just let him go, and I love that,
I do too.
obviously. And it makes for really good cinema, man. Like,
Yeah.
it puts you. It feels more real, and it puts you in the scene more, I think.
Right.
Well, okay, let's talk about 2006, man, because there's a lot of good movies came out.
There were. So we start off with Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, the second one,
Oh, okay.
which to me was a little bit too long of a movie, but I still enjoyed it nonetheless. Especially after coming off of the first one, which was huge success. Everybody loved it.
Right.
The first Cars, which I love that one too.
Oh, yeah.
With one of the Wilson brothers. Is
Owen
it
Wilson.
Wilson.
Owen
Yeah,
Wilson.
The broken nose Wilson. Yeah. Night at the Museum, the original.
That's a fun movie.
That's a
man.
fun movie too. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Da Vinci Code, 300, Superman Returns. I put that on there just because I bought the DVD.
I liked Superman
I liked it when
Returns.
I first saw it, and then when I bought the DVD way back when.
Watched it
but
again.
it's not. Yeah, it doesn't hold up very
That's
well.
the one that Bryan Singer directed.
Yeah, with Brandon Routh.
Yeah, Brandon Routh, yeah.
And Discount, Rachel McAdams.
Yeah.
As Lois Lane, horrible. Casino Royale, which is Daniel Craig's first Bond
So
outing.
good.
Yeah, I watched that recently too, just because I was bored and I was
I
like, well,
haven't
put this
seen
on.
that since it came out, I don't think.
Uh,
I need to revisit that.
Yeah, you really should. Pursuit of Happiness, Will Smith and his son.
That's a great movie.
Yeah,
Gosh.
at the ending I cry every time.
I cry. Yes, yes.
Talladega Nights.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Will Ferrell.
So one of the Will Ferrell films that I actually like.
Oh, okay.
We talked before about Elf. There's
what-
some that I don't like.
What about Talladega Nights do you like?
I just like him and John C. Reilly. You put them together
Bro.
and it's gold.
That's true. That's true.
And it's also one of the last times I think we see Michael Clark Duncan on screen,
Oh,
before his
yeah.
untimely passing
Yeah.
too. Mission Impossible 3,
Yeah.
which is your favorite.
That's my favorite one out of all
And
of
so
them.
you like that over Fallout.
I really enjoyed Fallout. I saw it with Remy. He got scared whenever Superman's face got burnt or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But man, Mission Impossible 3 is my favorite.
Okay.
Yeah.
A quick sidebar. Have you heard the Tom Cruise rant that he went on set?
I have.
I think I sent it to you.
You did.
Yeah. It's
Oh
great. It's a
my
great 3.5 minutes or however
gosh.
long it is.
Yeah.
It's better than Christian Bale's
And like
rant.
people quitting left and right
Yeah.
on that production.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Internet wins again.
Yeah, right?
The Departed.
Oh, the Departed.
The Departed.
Yeah.
Borat, which you're not a fan of.
No,
Yeah.
not a fan.
I loved it.
That's cool.
The Devil Wears Prada.
Really good movie.
Yeah. I mean, it is.
It's a
You
good
know, I'm
movie.
not going to hate on that. Oh, speaking of like female-driven movies, Sex and the City's coming back, and I'm super excited.
Okay, somebody was just telling me about
Because I'm a
Sex and the City.
huge fan of that show.
I never watched it.
Oh, well, you should really
Should
do
I
yourself
watch
a
it?
favor. Yeah.
Okay.
And, but I mean, Kim Cattrall's not coming back. You don't know who that is anyway. Probably doesn't matter to you
She's
as
one
much.
of the main
She's one of the
cast?
4, yeah.
Why isn't she come back?
Well, so there's been this ongoing beef between her and SJP for years. Stemming back to when they used to actually shoot the show.
Man.
And it's just this thing that's kind of gotten bigger than life, and
Yeah.
it's over. They don't even talk.
SJP, RDJ,
Relax,
STP,
relax. You gotta talk like you already know the people.
DMB.
So when you,
That's
Dave Matthews Band, you know. If I could just get to this list.
Oh my God.
So many sidebars.
Yeah.
The Breakup.
Vince Vaughn?
Vince Vaughn
Jennifer
and
Aniston.
Jennifer
Yeah,
Aniston. Yeah, John Favreau.
Okay.
Nacho Libre, which I never saw.
What?
Yeah, I know. I'm not a big Jack Black
It's
fan.
super goofy, but it's super good.
Yeah, and so Goofy, like there's like a fine line for
That's
me.
true. You don't like
what's too
Goofy.
goofy? Yeah.
Okay.
Deja Vu with also Denzel Washington.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which we watched that, my sister and I, over the holidays after we watched Tenet,
Okay.
because we were having a discussion about like time travel, and then my brother-in-law and sister brought up Deja Vu, and I was like,
Great
that doesn't
movie.
deal with. So then we watched like the second half of
Is
it.
that Tony Scott?
Yeah,
Man, Denzel had several movies in a row that
Yeah.
were just like hard hitters.
that is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
And it was all like in the early 2000s, right?
Yeah. Yeah. He's got one coming out on the 29th of this month.
That's right. Isn't it HBO Max?
It's gonna be HBO Max, and in
And
the theater.
in theater, okay.
Because Warner Brothers signed that exclusive deal with HBO Max.
Which everybody's mad about.
I could care less. I'm
I don't
super
care
excited
either. Yeah.
because I'm not going to the movie theaters anytime soon.
Did you hear? Okay, another sidebar.
Sidebar.
Did you hear that they moved up Kong versus
No, I didn't.
versus Godzilla? Like they announced it this weekend.
Oh.
So like it's gonna be like in March. It'll be on HBO Max
Yeah.
and in theaters.
But it's supposed to be in the summer though, right?
I think it was gonna be the summer, but
Or
they
like
moved it
late
up,
summer
yeah.
maybe.
Yeah,
That's good news.
yeah, it's good news.
They should just go ahead and put everything out on
And
HBO
I
Max
just
at the same
watched
time.
Kong Skull Island.
For the first time?
No,
Oh, okay.
like rewatched
Yeah.
Kong Skull Island, which is such a good movie.
Yeah, I liked it, but I liked.
It's very violent.
yeah, it's not for kids.
No, it is not.
I liked that movie, but I liked Godzilla, King of Monsters, way better.
King of Monsters was so good.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Bryan Cranston in the first Godzilla, which was a really good movie too.
Right.
But yeah, King of Monsters was like, they stepped it up a notch.
I was surprised with how many monsters they put in this movie.
Exactly.
It was insane.
Remy and I watched it over the Christmas holiday,
Okay.
and he loves that movie.
So that didn't scare him.
No, he loves it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is it with kids that, like, they love big monster movies,
I know.
but then somebody's
And
face
it's
gets
always-
burned and
yeah.
then they freak out?
You're right.
I guess it's too realistic.
That's probably what it
Yeah,
was.
because there's no such thing as massive monsters that
Yeah.
we know of.
I remember in sorry, COVID. Literally COVID.
Brad's dying on air.
I remember watching Mission Impossible Fallout with Rim, and he was on his Switch like the whole time.
Oh, okay.
But that part happened where like the dude's face got burned. Henry Cavill?
Cavill, yeah.
His face got burned,
Yeah.
and Remy like looked up and he was like, "Daddy, he looks like a monster." Like he was done watching it.
I mean, it was realistic.
It was
special
realistic,
effects.
yeah.
So yeah, I
It
can
looked
see
good.
it.
Yeah.
So okay, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
And then Miami Vice, the Michael Mann directed. So of course it's one of my favorite movies.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
where does that rank on your Michael Mann list?
4.
Okay.
I would go Collateral, of course.
Right.
Heat, The Insider with Russell Crowe and Al Pacino, and then
Great movies.
Miami Vice. Yeah.
Yeah, those are good movies.
And of course we're gonna end up covering all those at some point.
We got to. Yeah, we got to. Well, let's talk about Spike Lee and tell me where, like, what are your favorite Spike Lees?
Old Boy, with Josh Brolin
Yes.
and Elizabeth Olsen.
Yes, good
Yeah,
movie.
really good movie. Also very different from him.
It was a remake of the Japanese.
The Japanese
Yeah.
version, yeah. I liked Summer of Sam because I'm a sucker for serial killers,
Yeah.
documentaries, TV shows, movies. I watch all those.
Nice.
Malcolm X is probably my all-time favorite.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of Malcolm X, we do have a Black History Month series coming up for the month of February. I
Yep.
said November
In a
almost.
few weeks.
Yeah.
No, not November.
Not November. That's over.
Where are you right now?
I don't even know.
When are you?
I don't even know. I'm stuck in a time loop.
Yeah.
And Malcolm X is one we're gonna do for sure. So,
Nice.
but I also like He Got Game.
Yeah.
Have you seen He Got Game?
I haven't.
Okay, it's a really good movie.
Okay.
It revolves around basketball, so it may not be your thing,
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
you don't do sports.
I don't care about
which is so
sports.
interesting. And then of course Black Klansman
Okay.
with Denzel's son.
Yep.
That's and Adam Driver. That's a really good movie.
Yeah, man, Denzel's son. What's his name?
John David Washington.
Yeah, I've been watching Ballers lately.
Oh, it's a good
and
show.
I'd never seen it before.
Yeah.
And man, his character is really good.
Yeah. He's really good, but he's also kind of unlikable.
Oh no, there's a lot of characters on that show that are unlikable.
That is very true. Also,
Except for Rob Corddry. Corddry? I don't
Yeah.
know how to say his last name. He cracks me up. He makes the show for me.
I love anything that he's in.
I enjoy watching anything The Rock is in.
Oh,
Sorry.
really?
I enjoy anything Dwayne Johnson is in.
Okay,
Gotta
okay.
say his name correctly.
Yeah.
But Rob Corddry makes that show.
He released that movie with Chadwick Boseman on Netflix, The Five Bloods.
How is that?
I haven't seen
oh,
it
you
yet.
haven't seen it, okay.
Yeah, but I want to see it. It also has our boy Delroy Lindo's in
Yeah.
it.
Oh, Delroy.
Yeah, that's your boy.
We should reach out to him.
We really should.
That'd be cool.
What's he doing? Nothing.
Our podcast?
Exactly. He may even drive in. Who knows?
That would be awesome.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those are probably my highlights for his career.
Nice.
But he's done a ton of other movies, obviously.
He's done so many, and for a long time they were all very similar.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Kind of tailored for black audiences.
Right.
But this movie, for me, this movie stepped his game up.
Yeah.
Because I'd never seen anything like this before.
This was like his first one where he actually tried to cater to just a mass audience.
Yeah.
Because you talked about, the cast in this movie. Like, these people have done all kinds of movies for everybody.
Totally.
So this is like the first, I guess you could say, big budget blockbuster type film that he's done.
Yeah. So many twists and turns. So many unexpected things happen.
Right. So the director of photography for this movie is Matthew Libatique.
Okay.
Another interesting name.
Yeah.
A lot of work was done on music videos. He's worked with Tracy Chapman, Drew Hill, a 90s rap group called Legion of Doom, Brian McKnight, Ja Rule, The Cranberries, Incubus, The Chemical Brothers, The Cure, Metallica, Justin Timberlake.
My gosh.
Yeah. So that's, all pretty much A-list celebrity acts in
right.
terms of music. And then in terms of films, he's done Requiem for a Dream, Phone Booth. I'll say that
So
again.
sorry.
It's okay. I'll do it again. He's done Requiem for a Dream, Phone Booth, The Number 23, Iron Man 1 and 2, which I was really surprised to see. Yeah. Black Swan. Did you ever see Black Swan?
I didn't.
Another psychological thriller. It's crazy. I
Okay.
suggest not to watch it, actually. It's pretty wild.
Okay.
Cowboys and Aliens, which we kind of discussed before.
Oh, yeah.
Straight Outta Compton, which is a really good
Oh,
movie.
yeah.
Money Monster with George Clooney and
I never saw
Julia
that.
Roberts. Yeah, it was a decent movie.
Okay.
Mother.
Oh.
Yeah.
With
Jennifer Lawrence.
Jennifer Lawrence.
Javier
What's
Bardem.
that's his name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Star is Born and Venom.
Okay. Hated Star Wars.
Yeah.
I haven't ever seen Venom. Is that worth seeing?
I saw the best parts on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
And still wasn't impressed.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I am excited for the sequel because we get Carnage.
That's right.
And I'm looking forward to seeing Woody Harrelson, who I love
As a villain.
Yeah. So
That's cool.
big, big filmography.
That DP
Body
has
of
got.
work.
Why do DPs have such strange names?
Strange names, and they usually have a larger body of work than the writers or directors do.
That's true.
A lot of times we get writers who have done maybe 5 or 6 things,
Yep.
and they do one big thing, and that's what we end up covering.
Was this based on a book?
No, so the writer, Russell Gurwitz, he's a former lawyer, and he developed the script while vacationing in several countries.
Oh.
So that must be nice.
Must be nice.
Yeah, I guess if you're that kind of lawyer, whatever he did.
Yeah.
As a first-time screenwriter, he studied several screenplays and spent 5 years developing the premise. After the script was picked up by Universal and Imagine, which is Ron Howard and
That's
Brian
right.
Graze's company,
That's right.
Howard was slated to direct, but stepped down after Russell Crowe asked him to direct Cinderella Man.
Oh, which was a great movie.
It was really good.
Yeah, really good.
So then Spike Lee stepped in, and he loved the story.
And I
took
guess
over.
when a star player like that says, "Come direct this movie,"
Yeah,
you probably take it.
right. I'm just surprised because I guess this is 2005 when I guess they would have done production.
True.
So Russell Crowe would have the clout to reach out to Ron Howard and say, "Hey."
Then he would have. Now, not so much.
Not so much. Yeah.
He's
No one's picking up his call anymore.
I mean, the last good movie I saw him in was The Other Guys.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah, we saw that together.
Is so good.
Hilarious. We have to cover that. That's
I'm
a
okay
funny
with
movie.
that.
And we need a sequel, I think.
Yeah. Well, Shane Black directed
Yeah.
and wrote it, which we love Shane Black.
Right.
And I would love to see a sequel. I don't know if it's being talked about. I don't know.
I don't know.
I'll look into it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Let us know.
Well, the way this movie starts, we talked about it already, where Clive Owen's Spike and the Lens, kind of the prologue, the setup, if you will, and then it gets into this amount of money that Denzel's character is dealing with.
Yeah, so apparently there's like 140 grand that's gone missing.
It went missing.
There's some, I guess, drug deal or drug bust that went wrong.
And it was pinned on Denzel's character.
Yeah, to be the fall guy.
Yeah.
So there's like this investigation that's pending. So
what do you think that does to the story?
it gives you some like an extra element of, well, what's really going on with this character? Is this character dirty?
Yep.
Is he a straight, player? And really, you don't ever know.
Yeah. Later in the movie, spoiler alert,
Yeah.
but later in the movie, it gets, wiped clean.
It gets discovered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to know. I like that.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Because he's talking to his captain at the end, and
Yeah.
he's like, "Was it in my bank account?" And then he said, "No, it was my wallet." He's like, "Well, I don't know. I don't want to know where it was."
In my such and such house?
Yeah.
No. He's
Yeah.
like, I don't want to know.
And I guess it's under the assumption that Jodie Foster's character, I guess maybe paid that debt off.
Yeah, what's up with her character?
Man, I don't know, but I was super invested in any scene that she was in because you can tell she knows a lot of dirty players.
Yep, and she commands the screen.
In a very calm way.
Yep.
But so there's people in life that can threaten you, but like smile in your face and you still feel threatened.
Man,
this is her.
And I don't like those people.
I don't either.
I hope I don't have to deal with those type of people. But she played a character that I really love to hate. Mm-hmm. In the beginning, you didn't totally know who she was or what she was about.
Yeah.
She had a power suit on. She had power heels.
Well, and that first time we meet her is in that meeting with this. I guess he's just Middle Eastern.
Oh yeah.
And then there's this one-off line where she asks, "Well, how's your uncle?" And we don't know who the uncle is yet.
Uh-huh.
And there's a callback at the very end that goes back to it's one of my favorite lines. The callback at the end. We'll get to.
Yeah, we'll get to that line.
Yeah.
Her character was so evil, and was weaving in and out of the storyline.
She's the kind of person you definitely want on your side and not coming after you.
Yes, absolutely.
She's like a fixer, is what they call it, I guess.
And everybody knows who she is.
Yeah.
And they know how she operates and how much she costs. Mm-hmm. She did something with the mayor, that one part.
Yeah. She obviously had something on the mayor or some kind of power over him.
Yeah.
Because if you can call the mayor out of a meeting and then he's begrudgingly like, okay, well, I'll do you this one that's favored.
Yeah. She has dirt on everybody.
Yeah. The scariest person on the world is
exactly
the person who has dirt on everyone.
Yep.
And one of my favorite scenes that I actually don't have in my notes, I just thought about it, is when she and Clive Owen speak in the bank. Clive Owen's on the teller side and that glass, and she's on the other side.
Yep.
And they're playing this mental cat and mouse game.
And mouse.
And the whole time, like you said at the beginning, Clive Owen's in complete control.
Yeah.
Knows exactly what's going on, all the players involved, and why he's there. And she's trying to she thinks she's smart enough to figure out, how to get what she wants from him. And she walks away thinking that, oh, we made some progress. Yeah. But she has no idea what's going on.
I think I love the dialogue in this movie.
Yeah.
Everything was very intelligently written.
Right.
And sets up other things, and it was so just fun to watch.
Yeah, it was.
I keep saying that, but this movie is. I kept finding myself laughing at scenes that weren't like necessarily funny, but like you just laugh because the scene sets up something and it accomplishes it, and it's just fun to watch.
Like you're just laughing at the genius of
the genius
of the writing,
exactly.
the storytelling, absolutely.
Exactly. And Spike Lee just knocked it out of the park.
In the beginning, when they take over the bank, and they have the men on this side, the women on this side.
Yep.
There was some misogyny in that.
Yeah,
from us. You know what I'm talking about, where they make the men and women strip
in front of each other.
Yeah, but the camera only shows the women after they've been unclothed. You don't see the men, and that really stood out to me because of just the age that we live in now.
Yeah, it's true.
Right, and so I was kind of uncomfortable with that.
Yeah.
But my favorite part of that scene is they're telling everybody to put their keys and their cell phones in this bag. I don't understand why they tell them to put the keys in the bag. Like you're not gonna drive away.
Maybe use it as a weapon?
That's what I thought too,
Yeah.
so maybe so. So then they get to the last guy, and he's like, I left my cell phone at home.
Oh, yeah.
And you just know the guy's lying.
Bro.
Through his teeth.
Yeah.
And
he kind of looked
he looks shady.
like a weasel character.
He did, yeah. And I think he was the bank manager.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So Clive Owen, again, being the genius that he is, goes through the phones looking for his number in one of these phones. And you can hear the sound effect of him throwing him to the ground because it's not in there.
Yeah.
And then the camera goes to the phone and it says Peter, that's the guy's name. And he calls it and you wait for the ring. And you hear the ring and you think, oh, this guy's going to get killed.
Yeah.
And it's in, I guess, the bank manager's office. And so Clive Owen goes in, he closes the door, and he's like hiding behind that not crystal glass, but
it's like
frosted glass kind of.
Yeah.
And he's pretending to have a conversation with himself, like, what do we do? It's a funny moment.
It was really funny.
But it was genius, too, and he walks right back out, and then he beats him up.
Man, and he, does he just knock him out?
Yeah, he beats him
again
unconscious.
later.
Yeah, we see him in the flash forward in the interrogation
But that was definitely a show of force to everybody else, because everybody was standing right there.
Right
outside that room. A show of force showing what we're dealing with, right? Showing the audience and showing people in the room what we're dealing with. Yeah.
I also like just I like the subtle. The bank robbers will switch attire and then go in the rooms acting like they're one of the hostages.
Yeah.
and they're all dressed in the same outfit.
He's like, put your mask on.
Yeah. So of course at the end when they're all finally released, like you don't know, you just have to arrest everybody because you don't know.
Yeah.
I also like, when I say like, I use that word lightly, but when he says he's not Arab, but that guy comes out with his turban.
The Sikh.
The Sikh, thank you, yeah.
Yeah.
And right away, one of the cops is like, he's a effing Arab.
Yeah.
And then, they're talking to him in the diner.
Yeah.
And all he wants is like, I want my turban back. This is part of my religion.
And this is 2006, so like political climate.
Yeah, I mean, this place takes place in New York.
Yep.
So this is 5 years after 9/11.
Yep.
So tensions, of course, are still going to be high.
Still high, yeah.
But I do love towards the end of that conversation because it's Denzel, Ejiofor, and I think one of the cops, and then this guy. He says,
"Oh, it's Willem Dafoe."
Willem Dafoe, yeah.
Yeah.
And Denzel says, "I bet you can get a cab, right?"
He's like, "Yeah, that was one of the
That's
perks."
one of the perks.
That was really funny, and that was obviously a comic relief line.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's that tension
Right.
building, and then like, bet you can get a cab though. Yeah. Oh, that scene was improvised.
Oh.
That entire scene was improvised.
So I feel like a lot of Denzel's like one-liners were improv.
I'm okay with that. Like
I am too. Yeah.
Like we said earlier, like all of these, there's so many good one-liners.
Yeah.
What's that one that is it Chiwetel?
Yeah.
What does he say? Man, you check your shoe or you clean your shoe? Because he had that shoe so far up his ass or whatever. So good. That's a great line. Again, that was a really fun rapport that they had.
Yeah. Another scene I like is when you see the kid playing his video game in the vault, and Clive Owen walks in, and just that little conversation between, this genius, villainous bank robber and this little like 12-year-old street New York kid. He's got the New York slang, and he's like, oh yeah, I'll get a bunch of money, yeah. And he gives him the pizza, and there's 3 different lines as the camera pans out, the scene's ending.
Yeah.
And Clive Owen was like, I'll take you back to your dad soon, and the kid's like, okay, dope.
Yeah.
He's like, this will all be over soon, and the kid's like, cool.
Yeah.
And then he says one more thing, and he's like, all right, bet. Like just that one, like that back and forth so quick. It was I love all that.
Yeah.
The kid was so cool. He was smooth.
As a dad, I liked what Clive Owen said about the video game.
Yeah.
He's like, I need to
talk to your dad about this game.
Yeah. Because that game was, the game was created for this movie, not a real game. But Spike Lee asked them to create the most violent video game that they've ever created before. And obviously that's to show what kind of games that, like it looked like GTA 5.
Right, yeah.
It looked just like GTA.
Which I love, by the way.
I've never played it.
Oh, man, you're missing out.
But I'm never going to let my son play it.
No.
He's aware of it, but he's never played it, and he never will.
Yeah, because Spike Lee put that in there like as a social commentary to say this is what America's youth play.
Yeah.
This is what, they're turned on to.
And that's how they talk. Like, listen to the kid.
Exactly.
Like, sounds like a rapper.
Yeah.
Like
he even mentioned 50 Cent, and he's like, well, 50 Cent's like, well, get your money or die trying. But as far as favorite scenes, the last one is, it's a flash forward, and they're talking to the old lady.
That's laughing?
Yeah.
I love that one.
Me too. God. Because they're joking with her, and you can tell they're trying to like
lighten the mood.
Ease her concerns because it's traumatic for her.
And she's like distressed.
Yeah. And he's like, okay, you can go. But did you rob the bank though? No, you can't go. Sit down. Yeah. The way they're playing back with her back and forth.
Like,
I loved all of that.
That was great.
Yeah. He said that was all improv.
Every single one of those flash forwards was an improv.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, like Spike probably gave them a little skeleton of something that they're going to talk about, like a topic, and they just riffed. Yeah. And it again felt real.
I feel like a lot of the dialogue between Frazier, which is Denzel's character, and Mitchell, which is his partner, Chiwetel's character. Yeah. This feels like just 2 guys that have known each other for a long time. Yeah. They've hung out forever. They know each other so well. Yeah. Their banter, like you said, it just comes off very realistic. Yeah. It's like us.
What? I mean, like, they're probably friends in real life.
I don't think they would have to be.
But like, what kind of steps does it take to like build that kind of chemistry?
Well, I read that they work together on their scenes for this movie.
That's perfect.
So yeah.
Yeah. And so they like did lines, ran lines.
Yeah, they ran lines together. Yeah. And I'm sure just to build that chemistry. Yeah. I know with one of my favorite shows, Entourage, after they got the main cast, they sent those guys off on a trip somewhere and said, go bond somewhere like Bahamas or wherever, and then come back and we'll shoot the pilot. That's cool. So you can see that chemistry.
That makes sense. So like Card 53, sometimes we'll get together on a show day at like lunch. Show's not till 7 or 8. And we'll get together at lunch and we'll just hang out. Yeah. And like, obviously when we do that, I can tell our chemistry on stage is so much better.
Right.
And it's because of that camaraderie we have and the banter we have, like at Stanley's or wherever we are hanging out before the show.
Because it's like you're already kind of warming up.
We're jiving. My favorite scenes are, I love those flash forwards, like all of them. And it's even before I knew that it was improv. Because I'm watching the movie and I'm reading through the trivia. And I really like the fact that those were improv. But I like that the storytelling, the way that works into the storytelling and how it was all interspliced. I love the way it was edited.
Let me stop you right there because in my notes, those are my favorite scenes too, are the flash, and I wrote the word interspliced.
Oh, nice.
Synergy.
I mean, kismet.
And that.
Yeah, and that. I don't know if that's how the movie was planned. Like, I don't know if they wanted to intersplice all of the flash forwards separately, like sprinkle them in, I guess. But it was a great storytelling.
It was, and at the same time, those flash forwards didn't really reveal a lot about the plot.
No,
most times when you do that, it's to propel the plot forward.
Correct.
But because it's already happened, what we're talking about in the present, and the flash forward is in the past, so there wouldn't be any dialogue in those scenes to propel the story forward because it's already happened.
Yeah.
So it's like they're remembering it.
I do want to say I love how Spike used a talent pool of black writers and black the guy who scored the movie,
Terrence Blanchard.
Immediately after this movie was over, I went to Spotify and I listened to the soundtrack, and I loved the use of brass and the jazz stuff, and it made the film that much cooler.
Right.
For me, it really did, because it felt like a caper, and when you think of a caper, wow, when you when you think of a caper, I think like jazz and like older, like 40s, 50s.
Like very like noirish.
Yeah, and like the way that Fraser was dressed, like his hat and his jacket and his badge right here and his gun right here, like it was cool.
Just like an old school, like a throwback to crime drama. Yeah,
exactly, exactly.
There's even a scene, I can't remember now what it was, but he opens the door, it's just his silhouette. I think it's when he comes home, maybe, at the end of this whole thing.
Oh, yeah. Big Willie and a twin.
Yeah. That's a great line, too.
I love it.
That's Denzel. That's got to be Denzel. That's not in the script.
I think that was an improv line, bro. Yeah.
And so he opens the door. It's just his silhouette of him with the hat.
Yep.
Very reminiscent of like Dick Tracy comics and all that stuff.
Absolutely. And it was so well done. And he's standing there and like he has that moment of where he like realizes.
He's got the.
He's taking his. He's at the very end. He's like taking all of his stuff out of his.
The gun, the badge, the hat.
And I love how they showed that he put the gun in the protective safe for safety. That was really cool. But like he has that moment when he realizes, and he has the ring, or he has the
diamond.
The diamond out of the ring. Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, because then they go to the flashback when obviously he bumps into him because Clive Owen said, "I'm going to walk right out the front door."
Yep.
Said it twice.
Yep.
So he says that line twice to, I think it's Denzel and Jodie Foster.
Jodie Foster, yeah.
In the opening monologue, he says, "Pay attention because I don't repeat myself."
Yep. Oh, and then he repeated himself.
And he repeated himself.
Hey.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was a continuity error or if that was planned.
Because, I mean, it could be like, I don't repeat myself to the same person.
To the same person.
Yeah.
Okay.
So who knows?
I'm okay with it.
But yeah, I mean, that smooth getaway. And then, because you're in the beginning, or not the beginning, but at some point in the film, they're in the bank. Mm-hmm. And the first place they go is the vault. You see them in the vault. And they don't even go for the money. And then they go to that little like office storage supply room, and he goes, "Perfect."
Yeah.
And you're like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
And then you never know what it means until the very end.
We didn't know that they built that room.
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
Until later. And then we didn't, like, who thinks of building a room inside of a bank vault and hiding in there for how long?
It was a week.
He just stayed in there for a week.
Yeah.
Okay. So he had like provisions. Mm-hmm. He had like a little place and he stayed in this. It was like and he talked about the cell and like that whole thing. That was a really cool metaphor. How he talked about like the difference between a cell and a cage.
And a cage.
And a cage. Yeah.
Because in the beginning when he's doing the monologue and they show him in that little corridor, it looks like a jail cell.
It totally.
Because they are really small.
Yep.
And then you see the reveal at the end. It's like, oh, they built this room.
Yep.
Pretty much. And then he walks out. Do you remember as he's walking up the steps, there's a woman in a dress. She kind of looks at him like twice.
Yes.
She looks back at him.
I'm glad you brought it up because I was gonna bring this up. Like, my heart was pounding because I was like, that's it.
That's it. It's over.
He's done.
Yeah. And then nothing.
Nothing. Yeah. He walks out.
But when I saw that, it made me think, there probably aren't people that are down in that area that are dressed like that.
Yep.
And he looked like just a guy with regular. By the way, that outfit was horrible. By the way,
Oh yeah.
like just
Like
linen,
the really baggy
and,
pants.
Yeah, and that hat. It was
Yeah.
in the sunglasses.
But man, when Clive Owen like comes out, gets into the car with his constituents, and Fraser's there,
Yeah,
and he's like, "You didn't get the ring," and he's like, "It's okay, it's in good hands."
yeah,
Like, and we knew, oh, this movie ain't over,
right.
So we knew Denzel was gonna do something, and when he walks into that fancy restaurant,
Huh.
that was a great scene.
It was. I love that scene too.
That's probably one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah, because that's pretty much where he kind of tells Jodie Foster in so many words in a very genius way that I have control now.
Yeah.
You're gonna do what I say and what I want.
Yep.
And I love that scene.
Yep.
Because then right after that, she goes to see Arthur, who's the like the bank owner.
Arthur Case.
Arthur Case,
Yeah.
yeah. And he's at some salon, and it's like I guess a men's salon / like gym or whatever.
I don't know. It was a weird place.
Because some of the guys are like, "You're in the wrong place." She's like, "No, I have an appointment."
Very high society.
Yeah,
Thing.
and all
Yeah.
men, and some of them looked like
Yeah.
they were getting dressed. So I
Yeah.
don't know what was going on there, but she walks in, and basically, well, I lost my whole train of thought. Just that. But in that scene is one of my favorite lines. It's leading up to that, because as she basically tells Arthur off, and she realizes, "Oh, you're a war criminal." That's when she gives the callback line to the meeting with Bin Laden's nephew.
That's right.
Because she's like, "I've got to go co-op an apartment for Bin Laden's nephew,
Yeah.
and I'm going to use you as a reference."
Man.
And that's when you're like, "Oh, that guy in the beginning was Bin Laden's nephew."
That's who it was,
Which is
yeah.
why he says that line. There's a line where he says, "In truth, I have very little to do with him these days."
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Wow. Social commentary.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of think it was a little odd for Willem Dafoe to be in a movie like this. He doesn't typically do like a role like that.
Like a side character.
It's kind of a B character,
Yeah.
right? According to Spike Lee, he and Willem Dafoe met in the men's room during the intermission of the play Julius Caesar, in which Denzel Washington appeared. As they were standing side by side in the men's room, Spike said, "We should work together." And Dafoe replied, "Yeah, Spike, we should." And that was it. Later on, Spike sent him the script.
Wow.
Like it's kind of like what we talked about. What movie was that? Was it Ransom? Mm-hmm. On how these characters, these actors got these roles.
Yeah.
You know, like they knew each other in high school or whatever. And
Right. So Libatique, the DP in this film, had this to say about Lee's directing style using multicam setups. He has a distinct working style. He likes to have the scene play out and get all of his coverage pretty much at the same time. He's not a single camera setup director who gets 9 shots per scene and spends all day doing it. He prefers to get the actors blocked and find out where he can place all the cameras so he can get the scene and the performance. Because of this, the actors have to perform in every shot.
Oh,
because
man.
they never know when the camera's on them or not.
That's why the acting was so good.
Yeah. You have to stay engaged.
Yeah. You got to be on your game.
Yeah. And you're acting until you hear the word cut.
Exactly.
That's it.
That's so good.
Yeah. And I like that as a directing style. If you have the ability to use multi-cameras, then use them.
Yeah, right. Why
You're gonna have more work to do if you have one camera,
Yeah.
redo the same scene 9 or 10 times.
Yeah. Now that increases the budget, but I'm sure he
Right. Yeah.
accommodated for it or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, it works in some scenarios and some it doesn't. But I like this style for this movie, and I think, like you said, it speaks to the performances in this movie.
Yeah.
Even we're talking about the hostages, the men on one and the woman on the other side.
Yeah.
You can tell as the camera's panning down the line, they're all in character
Oh yeah.
the whole time.
Yep.
You never see somebody like doesn't know what to do or looking awkwardly in the camera or somewhere else. They're all engaged in the moment.
Yep. That's cool. There's lots of walking.
Yeah.
And we got to talk about that one camera, like different camera technique where they
Yeah, it's like a dolly.
Is it a dolly?
Yeah, so that's a Spike Lee thing.
Okay.
That's like his.
He puts it in his movies a lot?
Yeah, he does.
Okay, cool.
It's usually to signify like a pivotal moment in the film, because that happens right after we think we see a hostage get killed
Yeah.
on the video.
Oh man.
And that just sets Denzel off.
Yeah, totally.
And even that look on his face,
Yeah.
and you see all the cops behind him like running behind him to catch up.
Yeah.
I just love those kind of shots.
This is interesting for our podcast. Okay. Spike Lee says that at the time of making the movie, he was not aware that riddles had been a major part of the plot in another thriller set in New York City, Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Oh, you know what? There were certain moments with the phone call.
Yeah.
I think it's the first phone call where
Where
Clive Owen actually makes a demand.
Yes.
Oh, it's that riddle that he gives
Yeah.
him. about
confuses
the
everybody,
weight of
yeah.
something. Yeah, it made me think of Simon and McLean.
It totally did.
Yeah.
And he said that if he'd known that, he would have cut the riddle scenes out of the movie.
I mean, it didn't hurt the film.
He shot this movie in 39 days.
That's impressive.
Based on what you just said about the camera setups and all that,
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah.
He's efficient.
Because I think if you don't have that many cameras, that's going to be a lot longer of
Yeah.
a shoot.
Yeah.
For sure.
I just can't imagine the editing.
No.
Editing probably took a lot longer
Yeah.
than 39 days.
9 cameras? Yeah.
Yeah.
He might have hired somebody for that one, the editing job.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because I'm not going to do
Yeah.
all that. What's up with New York is always crowding around like bank robberies and jumpers in New York
Yeah.
City. Like nobody has anywhere to go.
And they happen quite often, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So like, you've seen one, you've seen them all, right?
Exactly. And this one took like at least 24 hours because it starts when the bank opens
Yeah. Sun
through
goes
the
down.
night and then
Yeah.
the next morning.
Yeah, because
so
they raise those lights up.
Yeah. I do like that it's set in New York because Spike is a New Yorker, so
Yep.
he's got this affinity for New York like I do.
A lot of his stuff is set in New York.
A lot of it is, yeah. And so in the beginning, it's like that Bollywood anthem playing right after
Yep.
Clive's monologue, and it's just all the different.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost like Lion King-ish a little bit,
Yeah, kind of.
and it's just all the different montages of different areas of New York.
Yeah.
Now this movie, the bank is in the Wall Street area, so that's
Yep.
downtown New
Yep.
York.
Yeah, the exterior scenes were shot in Brooklyn.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
The pizza place, or sorry, the pizza that the police give to the robbers has the name Sal's, a reference to one of Spike Lee's earlier films, Do the Right Thing.
Yep. I didn't even catch that. Wow. I love how authentic the New Yorkers were. Like you don't have like extras faking it.
Yep.
Like when they call the construction guy because they think it's Albanian that they hear.
That was a great
And he's talking
scene.
about his ex-wife,
Yeah.
and Denzel's like, "Well, call her." He's like, "You want
He's
me
like-
to call her?"
He's like, man. Yeah. He's like, I hate her.
I hate her. Yeah. And then he's like, "Well, come in here." He's like, "I'm getting arrested again." He's
He
like,
goes, this again.
"This again."
Like, just no regard for anybody at all.
Yeah.
Like, that's New Yorkers,
That's
right?
New York. Yeah, absolutely. I love it. Is
Yeah.
there a character in this movie you'd like to see elsewhere or more from?
I think Jodie Foster.
See, I thought that too.
As much as I hate her character, I think it would be really interesting just to plop her in somewhere.
Like maybe see her rise to the position she's in.
Dude, yeah, like a character-based
Right.
movie on her character or
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, her character was very intriguing.
So for me, it would be a fight for first place, Jodie Foster's character and Dalton Russell, Clive
Right.
Owen's character, because he knew so much and had so much information about what was in that lockbox 362 or 392.
Yeah.
Like who told him? We see the guy in the getaway car that was a hostage, but he's in the car with his constituents when he walks out. So I'm thinking maybe he had something to do with the information, like maybe it was an inside job because it's called Inside Man.
That's right.
So that could have a double meaning.
That's
Maybe
true.
he was the inside man,
That's true.
and they just don't directly point at him. It's kind of left for interpretation.
Yep. I would like to see, like, Clive Owen's character down the road. Like,
Yeah,
what did he do with all the money?
Me too.
Like, is that crew still together pulling jobs?
Right.
You know? Or him and that, would you say busty?
I guess yes. Is that a dated word? I don't even know. But I
don't
mean,
know.
yeah,
Him and the busty girl. Are they still together? Like, what's their story? You know,
right.
like,
Yeah,
I thought that was kind of funny how they put that one scene in there
yeah.
where they're like looking.
I was like, this is really blatant too, because like they had the close-ups of both of their faces,
Yeah.
and they both obviously were looking down. And she's obvious. She knows.
What did she say? She goes, "Did I violate the 36
Section
30?"
D article or something like that.
Yeah.
So, it
I
was
don't
really
know.
funny
Yeah, that was crazy.
because the other chick
Yeah,
was
the one that was in line.
Yeah, they kind of like switched them up,
Yeah,
and it was confused. So that's
that
why it
was
was
kind
kind
of
of
confusing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Did you recognize that chick at the beginning when they're in line? The Asian guy in front of her.
Yeah. Who is that guy?
He's been in some other things. He was in Lost for a little bit.
That's what it is.
He was in X-Men 3.
Okay,
He was-
X3.
Yeah,
Terrible movie.
which came out the same year. I didn't put it on the list.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, okay.
Right. But he's, if you remember, he's the mutant with the spikes, like the porcupine.
Oh, okay.
And he hugs somebody. He's like, "It'll be okay," and
Yeah,
then
and
spikes and kills the
kills him,
woman. Yeah.
Yeah.
Little details that I remember from movies like that.
That's
It's
weird.
strange. I
Yeah.
mean, you hug somebody, say it's gonna be okay. You spike them to death. It sticks out.
Man, that's crazy.
But Oh, okay. Would you say Spike's best movie? I know you're not as familiar with his filmography
I'm really
as I
not
am.
as familiar with him, but I would, in my opinion, this is Spike's best
Yeah.
movie. Yeah.
There were a couple of moments where I thought I checked to see how much time was left,
Oh, okay.
and I just wanted more Denzel versus Clive.
How often do you do that?
Check the time.
Yeah.
If I'm at home, it's quite. If I'm not as familiar with it, quite often actually.
Is it because you want to see how much more is left because the story's not wrapped up yet, or like what is that?
It's a little bit of both. It's that, and it's also I might get to a point in the film where, because it's just inevitable, there's going to be a point in the film where it kind of stalls.
Yeah, lags or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm checking the time to see, and it usually does happen around the midpoint.
Yeah.
And then a big pivotal moment happens, which, kicks the third act off.
So whenever I see a movie like this and there's twists and turns, and that's when I check the time left. I'm like what?
Yeah.
That was a major jaw-dropping moment.
Right.
Like, how much more time is left? Are we gonna see this wrapped up or whatever? Yeah.
Well, the hostages all come out, and I'm like, there's still 30 minutes left in this movie.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I forgot there was that much time left, and so I did check the time. And then I said, there's still half an
And
hour
there was like
left.
another ending. You
Yeah.
know, the whole ring.
So there's like the ending, and then I guess because we
Like a
got a
follow-up.
prologue, we actually
Yeah.
get an epilogue in a way too.
Right.
So yeah.
Yep.
Now there was a sequel planned for this,
Oh,
and they tried to get off the ground several different times, and it
Man.
just fell apart.
I would love to see a sequel.
And it was going to be Denzel going after Clive.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Denzel's best movie?
Oh no,
What is Denzel's best movie?
man. I have a cousin who we debate this often, like what his best movie is,
Okay.
and he wouldn't say this because I even asked him. I said, "Hey, are you a fan of this? We're going to cover this," and he was like, "It's not my favorite
Huh.
Denzel movie." He's like, "It's not even on his top 10 for him."
Really?
And he's made a strong argument for why it's not.
I mean, his role isn't like the biggest in the movie.
Yeah, it's not because, like you said,
It's kind of shared. It's a shared.
it's a shared thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, ensemble pretty much.
That's right.
I would say Training Day or Malcolm X would be his
Oh, cool.
best role.
That's
yeah,
cool. I don't know what his best role is.
yeah.
I want to see some more of his
I
roles.
mean, he's got so many. It's really hard to pick.
That's true. He does have.
It's like if you ask what Leo's best role is, it's like, man, I need some time to think about it.
which genre?
Yeah, exactly.
You
Yeah.
know?
So that's the only thing. So this is why I tell my cousin I pick Leo as number one. He picks Denzel because we both talk about both of these actors have range and depth to go there.
Right.
They've both played historical prominent figures in
True.
history.
True.
They know how to bring an emotional element to the character, realistic. But I was watching Catch Me If You Can recently,
Such a good movie.
and then even in Shutter Island, we covered that a couple weeks ago. He's done a few emotional scenes where he like actually will cry, and it's very believable.
Yeah.
I've never seen Denzel, I don't think, like really just like boo-hoo cry in a movie. I want to see if he can do that. I'm not doubting that he can, but because I've never seen it, it's just another element to your acting repertoire that Leo has that I haven't seen from Denzel.
Yeah.
So until I see that, Denzel's I think maybe 60 at this point,
Yeah.
maybe a little older. I haven't seen it, so I don't know if he's going to actually do that. So
A good Denzel movie that I return to a lot is Glory.
oh my gosh,
What a great movie.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
We
really
should
good.
cover some. We should do some Civil War movies.
We should. Really should.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, when I think of that movie, I think of the scene where he's getting whipped, and the one tear fall. So the one tear falls, but
That's
he's
it.
not crying. It's like a very manly, like
Yeah.
strong
Yeah.
tear.
Holds
It's a
it
very
together.
very powerful moment because there's no words.
Yeah. That scene.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
tough to watch.
Good movie.
Yeah, Jodie Foster, her best role.
It was very different for her.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say that. I'm not a big Jodie Foster fan. Like I don't celebrate a lot of her movies.
Right, I'm the
But
same
I
way.
really enjoyed watching her in that character.
Yeah.
And I'm not as familiar with her roles.
Have you
so,
seen
know.
The Brave One with her and
I haven't seen
Terrence
that.
Howard?
Uh-uh.
I recommend that.
Okay, cool.
So I won't really spoil it, but it's her and her husband. It's also shot in New York, and they're walking through Central Park at night, which I've heard is not a place you want to walk through.
Oh, okay.
And these guys jumped them both, and her husband or fiance gets killed, and she goes on like this vigilante spree.
Oh.
Just killing
it's a
bad
vengeance?
guys.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, man.
So it's like a role reversal of Death Wish,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Okay.
And Terrence Howard's the cop.
Oh, wow.
Why is he always the cop like after the vigilante? You
Yeah.
know, because this was the same thing in Four Brothers.
Yep.
Um,
I like Terrence Howard, though.
Right, and it's a
Yeah.
really good movie, good role for her.
That's
I
cool.
also liked her in It's that movie with her and Kristen Stewart when she actually could act. Panic Room.
Oh my gosh, I
Yeah.
forgot about Panic Room.
I think Panic Room or The Brave One are better roles than this.
I remember when Brave One came out. I need to check that out.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
And I mean, I'm not gonna say Silence of the Lambs because
Oh.
that's more. What's his name?
Oh, Anthony Hopkins.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's more about him.
It's been so long since I've seen that. Her role, I don't remember her role being that big.
It wasn't like
It wasn't really about her.
But they actually have a new television series on CBS coming out called Clarice.
Oh, cool.
And it's her
And
character.
it is about her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
I'm looking forward to that. But yeah.
Nice. Well, guys, this was Inside Man. We really liked it, and thanks for listening.
Go check it out.